Hi everyone, how are you doing today? Happy Friday. Today's Fun Fold Friday, and of course I have a Fun Fold card for you. Um, Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Not sure what you all have planned, but hopefully you are filled with love. And I'm still enjoying my coffee, even though it's already noon, gonna be noon. Um, I'm still recuperating from my trip from California. My trip was short, a week. That's short. Usually I don't take trips that small in length, but it was a good one. I got to spend a lot of time with my daughters, my grandchildren, friends, family, got to see my two brothers. So I squeezed in a lot. So when I got back here, I've been playing catch up. I do have some kits shipping out, my Let's Create craft kit. And once I turn the camera down, I'll show you the March kit that you can get. I think that is it. Let's go ahead and get to today's Fun Fold. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to show you the March Let's Create Craft Club kit. For March, I'm using the Easter Basket Bundle. You could subscribe to this kit now and up until March 7th. This is one of the cards. Here's another card. I can't remember if I finished all of them on the inside. I guess I should have. This one, look at how cute these flowers. I love this Easter Basket Bundle. These are all plain. But you can always put designer series paper in, and look at how cute this one is. And here is the other project. It's a little Easter basket, and I put a hand sanitizer in mine. Always a good idea for people who don't eat candy, but you could also fill it with some, I'm sure, some Hershey Nuggets, Hershey's Kisses, any kind of candies will fit in there. But those are your 5 projects, and you're going to get $20 in Stampin' Up! Product. So the gingham ribbon, this, and then the Easter Joy Designer Series paper. You'll get $20 worth of it, and it'll get shipped straight to your home. So, they'll get shipped the second week in, well, by the 14th. After the 7th is when the registration ends. And then we will ship them. I'll order your products and then we'll ship them. Right now, my February one's a little bit delayed. I think I'm going to ship the kits out tomorrow, but they're missing the Ladybug Garden epoxy shapes because those are out of stock. But anyway, let's get started with today's Fun Fold. So today's Fun Fold is this one, and I've had this bundle for a while. It's the Swirled Designs, and I finally pulled it out and used it. So I've already pulled the stamps and dies out that we're gonna use. There's a lot, and then since there's no sentiments, I'm using last month's product of the month. So I had a request for thank you cards, so I'm going to use the thank you and then so much. All right, so this card, let me remember how to do it. So here's, excuse me, all your measurements. These are the products that I used, so you might want to stop and take a screenshot of that right now. And let me get my trimmer. And hopefully I'll stay on this side, so in case you still need to get those measurements, I think I'm gonna have to open my my arm up. So I'm gonna have to cover it for a minute because we are going to use a piece of Shy Shamrock. Let me make sure, uh-oh, I just lost a piece of designer series paper. Oy, and there went my, my Simply Score. Okay, back to the project. So this is going to be 4 by 9 3/4. So let's go 4 by 9 3/4. And then where I'm going to need, our backing is going to be 4 1/4. So this might be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And this is peach pie. So this is going to be the back of our card base. And so this is going to be our fun fold piece. So we're going to, let me get my blade out of the way. We're going to score it at 3 inches. And then 5 1/4. And then let me see how we're going to do this. We are going to go in 1 inch. I think we'll score that. Well, so you can go 7 1/2, and then we're going to make a little score line at, since this is 4, we're going to go up to 3. So see that little mark right there on your scoring blade? You can just go up and then line it up with the 3. We're just going up 1 inch. So from the bottom, and then you'll see where that goes. I hope I made that in the right spot. And now what we're going to do is we're going to 1 inch in. Again, we're going to cut from the 3. So I'm going to, let me close this so you can see it a little better. I'm going to move my cutting blade to the 3. So let's go back to 1 inch. And then, so your 3, you're going to tell because of where the score line is. So again, your cutting blade has that little mark as well. And we're going to go from the 3 inch, we're going to cut to that 7 1/2 inch score line. Right there. Okay, so then that gives us our little thingy. Okay, I think that is it. Well, we have some, since I have the trimmer again, there's a lot of cutting as far as our cardstocks go and our designer series paper. I have stuff all over here. Hold on a second. I need to grab some petunia pop. I forgot to grab. So on this, I did a lot of layers. So see the cardstock in the back? Cardstock, cardstock, cardstock. So our first one, our petunia pop, is going to be 2 7/8. So 2 notches before the 3. 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. 2 notches before the 4. Okay, so we're using the in color. This whole thing is, I wanted to use these 2024, 2026 in colors because they're going to be retiring soon. So I wanted to use them. So we're using the designer series paper. So this is Petunia Pop. And this is going to be 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And so this will be the front panel layer. Okay, so then, well, since I have my Petunia Pop, I'm going to do the bottom one here. And the bottom panel is going to be 4 3/8 by 7/8. So let's go 7/8 by 4 3/8. And I had just enough there. Okay, so then our designer series paper is going to be 3/4 of an inch 3/4 by 4 1/4. So again, all these measurements are right here. Once I move my trimmer, you'll be able to see them again. So then our peach pie, the one here, we're gonna do that as 2 1/8. I know I always do all the eighths. 2 1/8 by 2 7/8. I like that thin border. You can go thicker and do the 1/4 inch border. I like the 8th. So this is, again, 2 1/8 by 2 7/8. Just make sure. 2 1/8. So now we're going to use the Peach Pie Designer Series paper. And you know, there's different patterns you could use. I just went with this pattern because the way we're going to stamp our inside of our images. So this will be 2 by 2 3/4. I'm over here talking, so I got to make sure that I am getting everything right. Okay, so then our small panel, this little one here on the bottom, is going to be 2 1/8. Let me see if this is big enough. 2 1/8. Ooh, perfect. 2 1/8 by 7/8. That piece must have been left over from the last one. 2 7/8. And so then this is going to be 2 by 3/4. Okay, so let's cut the 3/4. So yeah, there is a lot of cutting. You don't have to put all the layers. It's definitely up to you. And so that was 3/4 by 2. You know, you could just put the Designer Series paper. You don't have to put all those layers. So I believe those are all our layers except for our white one. Let me get all this out of our basic white. We can cut that one in a minute. I think I'm over here. I got all these pieces for our die cutting. So the white one, the basic white, will not have a layer because we're just putting it up against that Shy Shamrock. Okay, so now time to glue. So again, here's all your measurements. So it's telling you that here's the cardstock and then here's your Designer Series paper. So here's like the 2 1/8 by 2 7/8, 2 by 2 3/4. So it has all of them there for you. So again, maybe while I'm gluing, if you need to make a screenshot or take a screenshot. So we're just going to glue all these layers. And I'm using liquid glue. You can use seal, whatever is your preference. Again, I like that little border. And since these are layers, you know, like these pieces, you could die cut something out of this just as long as you have that edging. And so you feel like you're getting more out of your cardstock. You don't have to use, and people will not know it's a layer. They're not going to know that you die cut something from the back of this. Okay, so now this piece, it's going to fold, but I didn't score it because it's easier that we do it once our card's assembled. Leave it to me to drop my glue. I'm going to have to get a baby wipe and wipe that. Otherwise, I'll be sticking to it. It's funny, I was talking with my friends, it's like, they're like, oh, you do videos and you look like you're a pro at it. And I'm like, oh, not with all the mistakes I do, but you know what? We're all human. And that's what happens when you're doing videos. Everything's not going to go perfect. So let me just grab a baby wipe. I always have them right here just so that I can wipe this up. because we all know that glue is some excellent glue. Okay, so back to this. So this one's gonna fold. Let's see. These are gonna fold in and out. Where's my bone folder? So like this, but then this is gonna pop out this way. So makes sense. Okay, so now we can layer our pieces on. So again, more glue. You know, I've had the sniffles for so long. You know, and then when I was in California, I was a little bit under the weather, and I wasn't sure if it was, you know, my grandchildren, they have a cat. And I thought it was maybe the cat, but I think I got, yeah, it seems like every time I fly, I happen to get sick. So I didn't get to do as many visits as I wanted to because I didn't want to get anybody sick. But I was able to do a lot around my daughter's house, help her out. This little one goes here. So small bottom layers is this one. Bottom layers is this one. Front panel, and then what I call inside layers. So that way you know which go where. And we will put this one right here. Let these glue. I guess I'll get the white and we can trim it at 4 3/8 by 2 7/8. So 2 7/8 by 4 3/8. 4 3/8. 2 notches before the half is the 3/8. Okay. And on this one, again, I was trying to use all of the colors. So this is going to be Shy Shamrock, and we're just gonna stamp these flowers down the side like so. Okay, I think we're done with that one. And then we can glue this, and then we could cut all of our shapes. I don't know why I picked this bundle out when we did our pre-order, and like I said, I just never pulled it out. I was like, oh, there's a lot of things I could do with it, and this is actually the first thing I've created with it. Okay, so there's our card. So what I did, again, okay, so this, remember we didn't score this piece, but when you fold it over, it'll just, you just crease it. Like I said, it was easier to do it after than to try and score the piece to match it up. All right, so there's that. So what I did for all of our pieces, and I have those here too, is, where's my peach pie? So it's going to be the star. So I did 2 3/4 by 3 peach pie and basic white. So I did the same for each of them, white and so on these, I added adhesive sheets. It's totally up to you. I added adhesive sheets on these. These ones I did not. I glued them onto the white, the basic white pieces. I don't know why I keep saying white. I'm so used to basic white. Okay, so here is our, I'm gonna get just a scrap paper. And so what we're gonna do is just all over, there's not gonna be any right or wrong on this. We're just gonna stamp these spots all over, because we're gonna cut the star out. So this is gonna be like the inside of the star. So I'm gonna move that one aside. So, where's that baby white? Got ink on me. So that is our star. Now for the oval, we're just going to stamp in Summer Splash, and this is Summer Splash cardstock, this circle. And there, again, no right or wrong, because you're really not going to see, I mean, if you want to get the whole thing like so. So there's our Summer Splash. And then now we need our Pretty and Pink. I think the only color, well, I used every color on this. It's just the ink. I didn't use Petunia Pop. So then there's this one, and we're going to do Pretty and Pink. So I kind of just went and then turned it over, did it that way, and then did it that way. And like I said, this is just, you're going to see it underneath. And then we're going to do some fussy cutting. So there's our Pretty and Pink. So we're going to do some fussy cutting after our die cutting. Okay, so we're going to die cut all of these shapes. And I'll show you. We don't need the basic white yet. My things fell out of my... So we're going to cut... Nope, we're not cutting the basic white. We're cutting all of the cardstocks. And adding the adhesive sheet does make it a lot easier. So this is the oval. This is the diamond. And this is the star. And then we're going to need some flowers. And these are Summer Splash. I think I cut out 2 sets of flowers. Let's get the flowers. Do not have an adhesive sheet on the back of them. I guess I could have added adhesive sheet. Didn't think of it. So watch. We're going to have, because I need 2 sets. Look, we have that piece right there. And we're going to pop all of these out. Hold on. So again, don't throw these scraps away. Use them. So where's my take your pick tool? Let me get these flowers out, and then we need another set. And I'm going to do them with the adhesive sheet. Okay, got them all out, because then we don't have to glue. Maybe I should turn it that way, and I could probably get 2 sets off of that. But these flowers are so cute. That's why we stamped the flowers on the side, because I wanted them to match. So let's get all these out. And you guys remember how I showed you could use a fabric softener sheet, and these will pop out. I did not think to use my fabric softener sheet. I got one more stuck in here. There. And I'm going to do another set. Can we get another set in here? Ooh. That's like cutting it close. But we might be able to do it. Let's see. If not, we're just going to glue that other one. And I don't think we use all 6. All right. So, see? Don't throw those scraps away. Use them, use them, use them. All right. So now back to our, our shapes. Let's get all these scraps out of the way. Pop these out. I like these outline shapes. Oh, let's get that out of the way, because my adhesive sheet got stuck on that one. And then here's the star. Here's another piece. Don't throw away. Use it, use it. Okay, so some of the adhesive sheet started to come off. Okay, so I'm going to grab my silicone mat. Oh, look, here's one of the flowers. And I'm only gonna use it. I was gonna use it so I could pop these extra pieces out. But you know what? When I take all this off, I think this one I had used scraps of adhesive sheet. I don't know how I got some Shy Shamrock on there. So all we're gonna do is adhere. Okay, if it wants to cooperate, again, these are the things that happen when you're doing a video. I got that little tiny piece of Shy Shamrock. So you're just gonna stick it on however you want onto your piece of white. Uh-oh. I didn't, there. I had it hanging off a little bit over here. And then we're gonna do the same. Let's see if I pull the adhesive sheet off, all those little pieces come off too. Usually they do. But of course, this time they didn't. Oh my goodness. Are you guys ready for Valentine's tomorrow? And then so this one, we're just going to adhere here. And unfortunately, there's no dies for this bundle. I mean, there's dies, but there's not a die for the background. So that's where we're going to have to fussy cut. And I promise you they'll be quick. So let's put this one right on here. Get this out of the way. All these little crumbs. Yeah, I don't think we're doing anything tomorrow for Valentine's. Our anniversary is on the 19th, so we don't. We usually save it up. So we're just going to trim around this. Just super close. And just going around the edge. We're not cutting this is Summer Splash. We're not cutting the cardstock. We're just going right around it. There's a couple of different ways. I found this one easier. You can get the die and you can trace it. Use your die and trace around on a piece of basic white cardstock and then stamp. I found this way easier just because we already know where our stamping is and we just need to trim. So like I said, this is adhesive sheets. I did glue mine. I just added little dabs of glue all around. Let's get this out of the way. And then now just our star. But I wanted to add some color. And plus, because we're going to stamp. Did you guys get the product of the month last month? I love Sentiment stamp set, so that was a goodie. And then this month is the designer series paper. I'm waiting for my order to come and I will be doing some projects with that. And let's just snip and snip. If you have a little border, it's okay. That one's not coming out. I'll get it in a minute. But this might not be a card that you want to make a lot of because of all the fussy cutting. But you can also just, you don't have to put the background like I did. I just wanted to add some color, and again, because we're going to stamp. Okay, little piece come out. There you go. All right, so now we have all of our shapes. We're gonna use Secret C, and I'm going to stamp thank you right in the middle of this one. I like how those circles came out. I think I like those better than this one. That looks better. It's funny how each card is always different. So I'm using Secret C, and we're gonna do thank you on that one, and then we're gonna stamp so much. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna kind of put it at an angle, because I think when we put it in the card, it's gonna be at an angle. All right, so now we can assemble all of this, and these are going to go on with dimensionals. So what I did is I put my oval, I think I called it a circle a minute ago. Make sure that that adhesive sheet is on there really good. And where's the bottom? This is the bottom. I'm not putting anything here because we're going to add our star. And you got to remember when you put this on, and we should have maybe adhered this already, but this is going to go on here like so. We could do it now. So it's going to just sit right like that. And you're only going to put adhesive this little section here, and then the rest. You want to make sure that you don't get it, you know, all on here. So again, we'll just put that right like so. Make sure, am I straight? It's hard to tell without sticking my head. I'm gonna put that down for a second. Hopefully I don't get that glue on me. And so what I was going to say is when you put your star on, you just got to make sure that you're within the, so you could actually, you could put it however you want. Mine, I tucked it under. That's why I didn't put anything there. But I kind of could have stuck it out a little bit more so that you could tell it's the actual star. So we can tuck that back in. How did I have it? Like so. So you could see more of the star, but just be aware that, you know, you have it within, otherwise you're not going to be able to put it in your envelope. And then, so the diamond is going to go inside. And we can put that one right like so. Again, you want to make it sure it fits in this. Should I have put it that way, or should I have put it, maybe I angled it too much. But it's got to stay within this section, so move this up a little bit. Okay, so now here comes all our little flowers. Where are the ones? Here's one with an adhesive sheet. So I'm going to show you a mistake that I did. So I'm going to kind of reposition mine. So on mine, we're going to add the pearls, but see how these two are? When you close it, they hit. So I'm going to move this flower over here and the smaller one, because we don't want our things hitting. Where's all my ones with my adhesive sheet? Okay, let's get this one out. But I want it to add the in color pearls, but those are no longer available. So I went with the iridescent pearls, which are always beautiful no matter what. And so we're gonna move this one over here, and then the smaller one, so that our pearls don't hit. That's the learning curve of when you're doing projects. You'll live and learn, right? Okay, so this one will go here. I got a little doodad there. Let's get our medium size or other small. Again, I should have ran this through with the fabric softener sheet. We're gonna go a small here. And it's up to you how many flowers you want to put. This one has, this one is kind of cut off, so we're not going to use that. So what we're going to do is we are going to just add a dot of glue, a little dot. You know, this glue does wonders. And make sure you put that center right on the dot. Okay, so now we have our iridescent pearls, and we're going to color them. So we're going to use a peach pie blend, and I think this is the dark. Yes, dark. And we use 3 on the front and then 3 on the flower, so we need 6. So just color them. You could color whatever you want, whatever color you want. And I just wanted to add some color to match the backing of the card. Oops, I think I colored more than 6. I got carried away. But just use your brush tip. Right, 3, so yeah, I colored 7. We could add a 7th one somewhere. We love bling, right? Okay, so we're gonna put, why am I not using my take your pick tool? It's like I just had it. So I just put these on the big ones, the 2 big ones, and then this one. I didn't know if it was gonna be like overkill if I put them on all of them. And then we're gonna add 1 here in the front, 1 on this side of the star. See the difference in the color? And 1 on this side. And there's our card. There is our fun fold for this week. Let me get all this stuff out of the way so I can show you both of them. So now that it folds, it can fold because it's not, well, I mean, the other one folded, it's just that the pearls hit. So that's why we swapped them around. But here's both cards. What do you guys think? I like how these circles came out. But there, I used all the in colors, the ones that'll be retiring this in actually a couple months, a month or so. So get those while you can. I think some of the colors are already selling out. I was kind of disappointed that it's already been 2 years. But again, here's all the product that I used. Here's all your measurements. You can scan this little QR code and it's going to take you to my online store where you could find all of those products. And all you got to do is punch in that number and it'll bring it up for you. All right, everybody, thank you for joining me. And I hope you have a great weekend and a happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.